Mel Gibson. The Lethal Weapon star's fate changed in 2006 when he was caught on camera spewing anti-Semitic remarks against a police officer who was charging him with a DUI. Gibson was caught on tape blaming Jews for all the wars in history and taken into custody with a 0.12% blood alcohol level. Paparazzi had a field day again when it was announced he'd fathered a baby with Russian singer Oksana Grigorieva, while married to his wife of 31 years, Robin. She divorced him and reportedly walked away with half of his $850 million fortune, the biggest ever in Hollywood history, in 2011. Grigorieva and Gibson's relationship was also short-lived. In 2011, he pleaded no contest to hitting his baby mama when their relationship broke down in 2010, after she leaked telephone conversations of his rants against her. Robert Blake. The criminal and civil cases of Robert Blake and O.J. Simpson couldn't be any more similar. Both were high-profile celebrities, both were arrested for the murders of their wives, and both were acquitted for their murders. Yet Blake, who starred in the Oscar-nominated film In Cold Blood and television series The Little Rascals, was sued in a civil court by his late wife's children, saying he was responsible for her death. In 2005, 3 years after his criminal arrest, Blake was found liable and ordered to pay the court $30 million. Blake has since struggled to revive his career, and despite working on David Lynch's 1997 film Lost Highway, no one in Hollywood seems to be interested in him anymore. Winona Ryder. Since Winona Ryder split from Johnny Depp, her career seemingly took a nosedive, while Depp's continued to skyrocket. It seemed things took a turn for the worse in 2001, when cameras caught Ryder stealing clothes from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. The former Oscar-nominated actress was released on $20,000 bail, according to People magazine. But it seemed that Edward Scissorhands' actress had the last laugh. She reportedly stole clothes from high fashion brand Marc Jacobs. Upon hearing this, the fashion designer invited her to be his muse and spokesmodel for the brand, and in December 2015, it was announced she would be the face of his makeup range, Marc Jacobs Beauty, with the hashtag #ForeverWinona. John Galliano. The mustached and flamboyant designer would commit a faux pas when he was filmed in a Paris cafe spewing anti-Semitic remarks in 2011. The next day, his employer Christian Dior fired him as creative director of the brand. Shortly after, his eponymous fashion label followed suit. The designer went into rehab and counseling, keeping away from the limelight until 2014, when avant-garde design house and Kanye West favorite Maison Martin Margiela invited the disgraced designer to be creative director of the brand. It's not certain whether Galliano will ever recapture his trophy as the darling of fashion, but like many trends, he may come back into style. Lindsay Lohan. The name Lindsay Lohan seemingly appears more times in news headlines than in movie contracts after the one-time Disney star angered one too many studio execs. Lohan's career was soaring after Mean Girls, but things took a turn for the worse when she started appearing drunk, stumbling out of nightclubs around the world and pleading no contest to 2 DUIs in 2007. She was also caught stealing everything from jewelry to clothes on a film set. In Hollywood, she was persona non grata and has been living on the DL in London. Charlie Sheen. This actor was the star of top-rated movies including Platoon, Wall Street, and Hot Shots, but news of his erratic behavior followed him off-camera. Reports of his drug use and love of prostitutes were made public by Hollywood madam Heidi Fleiss. Sheen even wielded a sword and was seen with prostitutes on camera following his firing from 2.5 Men. Things took a turn for the worse in 2015 when the bad boy announced he was HIV positive, sending shockwaves around the world. Amanda Bynes. She was a darling of the Disney franchise, but like so many of her fellow Musketeers, she lost her way. Amanda Bynes was arrested in 2012 of drunk driving and a number of other driving offenses, including sideswiping a truck and holding up traffic. In 2013, she criticized Drake online and posted naked pictures of herself. In May 2015, she turned up to a court case in New York sporting a blue wig after she was arrested for reckless endangerment and reportedly throwing a bong out the window. She was charged with marijuana possession and sent for a psychiatric evaluation. She said it was, quote, all lies. Then, in July 2015, she's placed in a 72-hour psychiatric hold after she was seen near a fire in Thousand Oaks, California. Lil Kim. The diminutive diva would land herself in trouble in 2005 when she was convicted on multiple accounts of perjury. She was accused of lying to a federal grand jury when trying to protect her friends involved in a shooting in New York City outside a radio station. She was sentenced to 1 year and a day in prison, but was released early. She was sued in 2008 by a record company for breach of contract, but Kim's lawyer released a statement saying the record company, Brooklyn Media, did not keep up their end of the bargain. Suge Knight. The former bouncer who brought Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Tupac Shakur to fame was once called the most feared man in hip-hop, but video released in 2015 purportedly shows him running over two men with his car, apparently after a dispute. One of the men later died. Knight has pleaded not guilty to charges of murder, attempted murder, and hit and run. The Death Row Records boss said he acted in self-defense. Knight's health has been steadily deteriorating, with diabetes, blood clots, and impaired vision. O.J. Simpson. Although he was found not guilty in the criminal case against him, allegedly for the murder of ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman, he was found liable for their deaths in a civil case. The former All-American football hero, comedic actor, and trusted sports commentator's career would never be the same. He was found guilty in 2008 of armed robbery and kidnapping in Las Vegas and sentenced up to 33 years in prison. The case centers around the theft of sports memorabilia in a hotel room, which Simpson alleges was his all along.